6 years ago, I was on a solo trip to Italy, and I found myself in the middle of these gorgeous, stunning houses. Reds, yellows, oranges, and they were covering the lush green mountains I had just hiked. In front of me was this beautiful, endless ocean, and it was a shade of turquoise blue that I had never seen before. The air was warm and salty, and I could hear the waves crashing against the mountains. Yet, I felt sadness, emptiness, memories of a dreadful event from a few months earlier came rushing back. I will not share the details today, but I can tell you that I was almost killed. And even though I managed to survive, my world was completely shattered. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to start. It felt like I was trapped in this endless tunnel, running towards a faint light in the distance. But every time I tried to get closer, that light moved farther away from me, leaving me with just silence, darkness. It felt like there was no way out. I was stuck, but I had to gather myself. So I told myself, you're stronger. You're stronger than this. One step at a time, you'll get through this. Since that setback, I've managed to do a few things in life. I've traveled extensively across the globe. I've led the international business of my company. I've steered several large multi-million-dollar programs for several clients, as well as I've served on the boards of nonprofits like Rotary International, aiding tens of thousands of people. And I'm here today in front of all of you. But you know what? Most people would never be able to guess what it took me to be here. The trauma, the journey, and the struggles. So today, the reason I'm sharing this and the reason I'm sharing my journey is to help and inspire those who need to hear that it is possible to move forward successfully and happily, and that it will be okay. So today, I'm discussing how you can harness your strength and move past the greatest obstacle that life will ever show you. In times of distress, we often blame ourselves, don't we? Why did this happen to me? What did I do wrong? Or we fight to change people and situations we have no control over. I did it all. But sometimes there's really nothing we can do to change what's done. But we have a choice in how we respond. And we have a choice to not blame ourselves. I chose to not blame myself anymore. I stopped asking, why me? And honestly, that was the first good thing I did for myself. Then one day, I was reading the famous work of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor. And he said that those who are able to find a sense of purpose in their suffering, in their chaos, are far more likely to survive than those who could not. And honestly, in my own chaos, I found a sense of meaning through impactful work at nonprofits. It genuinely made me feel like I was making a difference. And I found purpose in my profession. It gave me the wings and the drive I needed to lift myself up. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that drive. But in times of distress, it's important that we hold on to it dearly. Dr. Robert Brooks, a famous psychologist, says that the research done on resilience shows that people who've overcome adversities, traumas, war zones, often say that there was at least one person along the way who believed in them. And honestly, I was just lucky that I found that in my mother. She listened to me like a broken record over and over again, without questioning anything I said or did. She believed in me endlessly. I don't know what I would be without her. So today, I'm going to take a moment and thank her. Mom, when you watch this, Know that I'm thankful and I'm super happy to have you in my life. Thank you. But even though I had all the love and the support, and I was fortunate to find a purpose, it felt like something was missing. I had come a long way for sure, but it wasn't enough. Then, about 3 years ago, after a deep sea dive in the Great Barrier Reef, with the vivid hues of the green and pink coral still fresh in my mind, I entered a cafe and I met this remarkable woman. As the conversation progressed, she told me how she lost her leg and her entire family, and yet she now teaches dance to young children. She was unbelievable, and her positivity was contagious. I couldn't stop myself from asking her, "Can you please share your secret of happiness with me?" And she looked at me and said, "You have everything you need. You have the power within you." That was a moment of realization. There's already everything I'd done, and I knew it was time for me to look deeper within now. And of course, I'd heard about meditation. Who hasn't in this room, right? But as someone who couldn't even control her anxious thoughts for 20 seconds, I found it boring and honestly, a very hard thing to do. But I took my first steps. And while living in Germany during COVID, I would wake up at 6 a.m. every morning, grab a cup of coffee, and walk along the Rhine River through the most beautiful woods that I've ever seen. The grass covered with white flowers and migratory birds singing all day long. A place where nature truly spoke to me. I had no idea back then how important this would be in my journey. I would sit there in the middle of those woods and reflect. It took me a long time, but I was finally able to reach a place where I could lose myself within seconds to find who I really am. As I felt the liquid sunlight flowing through my body, I connected to every bit of myself. I looked at my flaws, and I learned to love and accept myself despite them. I would visualize the situation I was in 6 years ago, and I gradually started to see myself at a distance, as if I was physically moving away from it, one step at a time. Then, about a year ago, as I flew in a hot air balloon in Turkey, surrounded by hundreds of green, pink, and yellow balloons, I found an overwhelming sense of freedom and peace. As I closed my eyes, I felt my hands heat up with the immense energy that circulated through my body. I saw my former self go through something life-altering 6 years ago, but I could no longer relate to that person. It felt like it was someone else. That connection had broken. That tunnel was behind me. It's been a year since, and that feeling of being powerful within remains intact. Now, of course, having found a purpose and meaning and have the love and the support from my mother mattered tremendously. But it was through finding a deeper connection through myself, through self-acceptance and self-compassion, that I was finally able to find peace and an immense inner strength. A strength that I always had, but whose potential I could never tap into. And you all have that immense inner strength. You have the power within you. So today, I'm going to leave you with a few questions. What drives you and makes your life meaningful? Who is that person who listens to you endlessly and lifts you up? And do you accept and love yourself? Are you compassionate towards yourself? Thank you.